welcome to ET Garage. Today we are at the SAC Museum in Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska, or the Air and Space Museum, whichever you want to call it. I'm here in the Corvette. Someone else is here in the Corvette. And over there's a B-1B, I believe, or B-1, whichever version of it it is. That's what first thing you see when you come in. And I forgot which designation was that small jet there. That's what they used to haul the generals around in, all those lucky generals. But we're going to go inside. And of course, one of the things you see here is ICBMs. I forgot which one is which, but if anyone wants to leave a comment below, they can. And we'll take a walk over there and we'll head on in, I guess. See what it's like. I seen something about personal photography and things like that, so some type of warning sign, I don't know. But I'm going to videotape this as long as I can. Here's some other missiles. And I guess that's what you would call an early version of a cruise missile. Thing was gigantic. I forgot the name of it. I can remember, I'll post it up here. I'm sure they have it on a placard somewhere. Meantime, I'm going to go inside and check it out. Oh, that's a Thor missile, according to that sign. That would have been one of the early intermediate range ballistic missiles, it says. I believe that's a Redstone. I'm not sure. Someone correct me, like I said, correct me down in the comment section. And this one I'm not familiar with. This is called a Blue Scout. Blue Scout launch vehicle. Designed as a reliable, inexpensive launch vehicle for small space research payloads. Okay, that's interesting. Apogee is 400-mile polar orbit. Years of service, the 1960s, it just says. So I guess if you had a small payload, you could do that. And then you wouldn't have to see Elon Musk to get your satellite in orbit. I don't know if I don't see a plaque for this one. I forgot. If I remember what it is, post it up here, I will. If you know what it is, post it down in the comment section. But basically, it was an early version of a cruise missile. And it's gigantic compared to today's cruise missiles. Obviously jet powered. And if I remember correctly, they launched them, they had like a rocket assist launch. If I remember correctly. If I'm wrong, like, post it down there in the comment section. Anyway, I'm gonna head back in, or head in for the first time actually. Semper Paratus, always ready. Yeah. And then over here you got Fear No Evil. Oh, and peace is our profession. Yeah, I remember that. All these signs when I was in SAC. I was in SAC from 79 to 80, and then after that I went to Europe to the Tactical Air Command. Redstone or a Titan 2 or Titan 1. If anyone, like I said, anyone knows, let me know down in the comment section. Because I cannot remember. I used to know all this stuff when I was a kid. See, museum summer hours. Daily 9 to 5. Winter hours are weekdays 9 to 4 and Saturday 9 to 5, Sunday 11 to 5. Let's go inside, and I gotta find the bathroom. Okay, first thing you see when you walk in is the SR-71 Blackbird. One of the most famous planes ever built, and probably one of the fastest. And after you check in over there at that counter, you get one of these guides. They have a free guided tour at 11. I'm going to skip that. And I'm not going to videotape everything. But, one, my battery will probably run out, and my other one isn't doing too good. So go through it and see what we can see. I'll probably just do a voiceover. After that quick walkthrough, here we are overlooking what makes the museum. And if you look way back, there's a giant B-36. For its time, that was a giant aircraft. I mean, as big as the aircraft are, they are small compared to some of today's airliners, but you can see it, where they got it stuffed in here next to the B-52. And then behind the B-52, way in the back, is a B-47. And right at the nose of the B-47 is B-58 Hustler, and F-111 Aardvark, and F-4 Phantom, B-29. I don't remember if B-29s were used during SAC. You know, they would have been, they might have been used into the Korean War. I'm not sure. You know, you can leave a comment. But up here you got the U-2 spy plane. And down here you got an F-101 Voodoo. It kind of looks like an F-4 Phantom, but it's not. That F-4 Phantom is over there with the swing tips folded up. It actually is large. I think it might actually be larger. Didn't perform as well as the F-4 Phantom, but it was one of the first, I guess, what they call the Century Series. And where they were really learning about jets. Of course, you got the F-86 Sabre jet up there. And you got an A-26B Invader. I believe variants of them were used right up in the Vietnam. I'm not sure. And that plane over there, I'm not sure what that is. To me, it kind of looks like a MiG painted in U.S. Air Force colors. I don't know. If I can find out more information, I'll leave it up here somewhere. But here you have the giant B-36. That had 6 pusher radial engines. I think I forgot the designation. If I can remember, I'll leave them up here. And then it had 4 jet engines, 2 on each side, and it had over something like 340 or 350 spark plugs in it. So this thing was a maintenance nightmare. But it did get replaced by the B-52, which is still in service and probably will be long after I'm gone. B-52 is what I'm familiar with. The B-52 is what we had at Loring Air Force Base, Maine, back in 79 and 80. I forgot how many years they were there. But originally, when Loring Air Force Base was made, it had the B-36s, and I think it still has one of the world's largest hangars. It's still there. I did that in a video. If I remember, I'll leave a link from last year when I was there. I do see an F-102. That would have been an interceptor that they would have stationed at SAC bases to intercept anything coming into the bases. Later on, they were replaced by the F-106s. That's what we had at Loring Air Force Base when I was there. Anyway, I'm going to go back to the quick walk around and see all the other displays. Anything notable I'll put up. I'm not going to put all the information, it's just too much out there. Oh, there's a MiG plane somewhere over there. I see the red star on it. Back there, right in front of the B-52 and in front of the B-47. But, yeah, let's go back in fast mode and we'll go walk around some more. Alright, here we are downstairs, and that plane I thought might be a MiG is actually an F-84 Thunderstreak. I always remember the F-84 having a bubble canopy and not that style canopy. I guess I'm wrong. But like I say, when I was a kid I would know every one of these now. Yeah, I guess it's not on my priority list. But down here you get a great view of the underside of the aircraft. Like here's that giant radial engine. I don't know, I hope you can see this. Underneath the B-36, they got it all open up. You can imagine what it must be like changing all the spark plugs on that. I think, if I can leave the information up here, I will. There's a bunch of rows of, I believe, either 9 or 7 cylinders. They got big turbo compound superchargers. In other words, they got a fixed supercharger that is fixed to the crankshaft. Then underneath they got these turbo compound superchargers, or turbochargers, that actually don't only just spin and produce a boost, it is also fixed to the crankshaft in a way through a drive system and a type of small torque converter to help offset the difference in speed, and that actually helps add extra power and efficiency to the motor. So it ain't just providing boost. In other words, the exhaust spins the supercharger and that provides boost, and it also transfers mechanical energy to the engine. That's what I know about them. Anyway, we'll go over here and look at some of the conventional bombs. Here you got the Mark 84 2,000-pound bomb, general purpose. I believe these are still used today. And even though it's painted yellow, it's inert. Technically, that should have a blue band around it. Blue would stand for inert, yellow would stand for live munitions. That is one of the things I remember from my munitions stage when I was in the Air Force. And we had, the base I was at, we handled nukes only, but we used to practice on Mark 82s, which were 500-pound bombs. I might be wrong. Someone correct me if they want. Like I said, it's been a long time. If someone wants to correct me, go ahead. But we'll get over to this little bugger here. This was experimental. And it was designed to hook underneath the B-36 to fly as fighter protection. It wasn't that stable, and they had problems unhooking and hooking to it because of all the air turbulence. So fortunately it stayed experimental. Now, I don't see any of the nukes that I used to haul here, but you can get the old style nukes. You look right up in here in the bay, the B-36. Like I said, hopefully you'll be able to see this. Here's the forward bay and the aft bay. They have one of the nukes up here. Of course, it's not a real nuke. But where's that? A fuel tank? That might be a fuel tank. Yeah, that's not a nuke. That's a fuel tank. Extra fuel tank. Then you would store another bomb back here. And if I can find one of the nukes around here somewhere. Here we go, Mark 17 nuclear bomb. When the first mass-produced hydrogen bombs deployed by the United States and entered service in 1904, spaced out by 57. A total of 200 of those bombs would be produced in this time. Nuclear weapon is the heaviest U.S. nuclear weapon and the second highest yield any U.S. weapon. The massive size of B-36 and its American bomb acted in deterrence by the United States and the Soviet Union during the Cold War. It's gigantic. The nukes that I would haul around when I was in the Air Force were a lot smaller. If I can get some pictures of them, I'll leave them up here. I don't see any of them around here. If I do, I'll share them. But like I said, I'm not going to keep going into all the details of all these aircraft. If you can get out here, that's the best thing to do. Get out here and enjoy it. You can get up close and personal to all these aircraft. This is a tunnel that you would use to go from the front of the B-36 back to the tail section where the gunners were. So go from the cockpit back to the aft section. You get in this tunnel and slide on this this thing right here. Slide in and out. That must have been a heck of a trip. Yeah. Yep, it says please do not open unless there is an emergency. So I don't know if you're allowed to go in there and slide through it or not. I'm tempted to. It's a little bit warm in unit today, so I'll leave that for the kids to do if they are. It'd be great if they do allow the kids to do that. These days they might not do that. I am going to end the video here. And right here in front of this RB-45C, North American. This is a reconnaissance version of it. They also made a bomber version of this. Best thing you do, like I said, is get out here to the museum and see all this stuff and learn about it. But I'm going to go take some photos and enjoy the rest of the museum. Meantime, everybody have a great day, and God bless.